We gather here today to bury my arrogance. Yeah, what a crazy game. Chelsea versus Arsenal. I woke up very anxious, funny enough, about this game. I've been so confident. The last few days when I did my match preview, I was like, we are winning 3-0, 3-1. I was just so confident. And because of the kind of day I had, I didn't actually watch it on a telly. I was on my phone because I was on an airport run. So I watched most of it on the way back from Manchester Airport. And hey, my anxiety this morning was justified because I was very restless. Then I didn't even notice, I didn't check the lineup properly, but Saliba ruled out because he's injured. These injuries are going to be the death of me and the death of, well, my arrogance is dead anyway. It's dead. I don't think this result versus Chelsea is going to sort of stop Arsenal winning the league, but it's definitely going to stop me making assumptions. I've supported this club long enough. You know, the last 20 years I've been completely hard work. And yeah, it's not a guaranteed win. And sometimes I need to appreciate that. Take it one game at a time. Take it one game at a time, because when this match started, near the time I saw back to, you've got Mosquera there, our centre-backs, and Hinkapie, you've got Cucurella there. Not Cucurella, sorry. You've got Calafiori there on the left. And then you've got Juri and Timber on the right. And I'm thinking, well, I don't like it. Because even like when we swap out either Gabriel or Saliba, there are some vulnerabilities, especially Gabriel when he's out. Actually, no, it's Saliba when he's out and Mosquera comes in. There's some vulnerability. But then just two of them from nowhere. Funny enough, they did pretty well in terms of keeping the goals out for the majority of the game. They did really well. What they didn't do so well was basically passing from the back, getting the ball into the channels they needed to get the ball in to get, to transition from our defense into our midfield. We lost that and we missed it a lot because the game started, Arsenal turned up expecting to play a very tough match. They thought, right, it's going to be quite feisty. It's going to be a tough match. They turn up and it's an MMA match. All they needed to do was, give the players some, gloves, because it was pretty aggressive. The challenges that were coming in. I was screaming at Cucurella. I'm like, he should have been sent off twice, because the first challenge on Saka was a yellow. Let it off because it was in the first, I think it was like 8th minute or something. Second one, let off. The third one, he gets a yellow. And I'm thinking, my goodness me, he has to be sent off today. And right at that moment, I am fuming because Zubamendi got a yellow. It was a yellow. Zubamendi's was a yellow. You can tell it's a yellow. Cucurella should have been yellowed already, and I'm already having a go at Anthony Taylor, thinking, what are you playing at? Because I thought he was more forgiving to the Chelsea players who were so aggressive. They were coming in. That's Saka. Poor Saka. He didn't even have a great game in the end, because I think especially the first challenge from Cucurella was that bad. And then Mosquera again gets a yellow card. The Calafiori one was definitely a yellow card because he had lost track of, was it Rhys James, who had gone past him and he couldn't catch him, and he just basically tried to hold him back, but he was off the pace for that particular challenge. Gets a yellow, and it's looking really tense. Then, of course, Moisés Caicedo with one of the most horrific challenges I have seen. It was absolutely horrific. The minute I saw it, I was like, he's got to go. He's got to go. And he's there pretending to be injured. And I'm thinking, did I imagine this? Very filthy, very absolutely ridiculous. But of course, it was a straight red card. There are certain games where you can say, right, he's spoiling the game. These challenges and nothing challenges. But the challenges from Chelsea, those were nasty and they were dangerous. And Merino, poor guy, he had one to the head, one to the leg, almost broke his foot there. Caicedo anyway gets sent off, and I'm breathing because at that point Chelsea are battering us. By the way, this was not an Arsenal game. Chelsea are battering us, and I am thinking this is bad, but they're not scoring. But I know they will score in the end because our centre backs are sort of new, but Mosquera and Hincapié were doing really well keeping those out. Calafiori, of course, was steady. I thought Timber was probably too adventurous considering how much aggression and threat we're facing. Caicedo gets sent off, of course. Hincapié soon gets a yellow. I think Hincapié's was when he went and sort of hit Chalobah. At first, I was like, that is not a yellow card. And I was having a go at Anthony Taylor. But in the end, of course, it was not malicious. They both jumped and Hincapié just jumped higher and his elbow ended up on Chalobah's head. But he had a nice big lump on the side of his eye here. And I was like, oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, dude. I have never been so happy to hear a halftime whistle in my life. Because I'm thinking, right, Arteta is going to go back to the dressing room and he's going to get the guys all like sorted out, tell them where they need to go to try and get some control of the match because we had zero control. First of all, Reece James, who I thought was a right back, the guy is a center DM, you guys. He is a beastly center DM because, to be fair, I can't lie, the last few years, me and Chelsea, there's just too much football to watch, and as I wasn't watching football professionally, I had to choose the games to watch, and I was watching them very casually without noticing people's performances, and he was out injured for a lot of that time. But I was hearing a lot when they were doing like combined 11. I'm thinking, why are you putting Reece James in this combined 11? Well, I found out why. The guy controlled that game. He was everywhere. He shut everything down in that central midfield. Poor Eze, I think, Eze is good in that position, but we need to see the games that suit him there. Because like everyone's noticed, when he gets the ball, even all the goals he scored against Tottenham, he would get the ball and have 1-2 touches and then he does something with it. But Chelsea were winning every first ball. They were not allowing Arsenal to get onto the second ball because the minute you get that, you're getting fouled, you're getting battered. And that was the aggression. Now, I was expecting, I think the reason I went for an Arsenal win so confidently previously, I did not expect Sunderland 2.0. At all, because I have been ranting and raving. I mean, when I said why are Bayern and some teams coming to play Arsenal the way they want to play Arsenal, being defensive, but Chelsea didn't do that. They attacked and they were aggressive and they attacked, and that is how to play Arsenal. That is the weakness I have seen. Arsenal do not like it when you attack them, because I think it takes them quite a long time to build up from the back. But the minute you close them down quickly, but there are very few teams in the world and in the Premier League who can play the way Chelsea and Sunderland play consistently for 90 minutes. And most of the time when I'm doing like game reviews and I'm looking at some of the Chelsea players, there's so many Chelsea players, I'm like, wow, I like this guy because they're pacey. They are very fast players. They're very aggressive. They've got a good combination. My kind of players, like the Enzo Fernandez kinds of players. I'm like, I like this guy. Let me even check. 1 second. Let me check Arsenal lineup. See who started for Chelsea. Yeah, Pedro Neto, Enzo, these are very pacey, very fast, players. And I've noticed them. João Pedro, he started very well in that World Cup club, whatever tournament. Did they win it in America? Whatever. Yeah, they won it. He started very well, but he hasn't been as effective, but he had some chances. He had a shot on targets, because you have to remember these two, Hincapié and Mosquera, haven't played together, but I think they are capable, especially now that they've been, given that opportunity. They're capable of keeping hold, at least helping us maintain our defensive structure and our results. But, Chelsea they came in. Chelsea's approach to today, in my opinion, was, when you go and play a big team, like when we face certain teams where they want to prove a point. They were out to prove a point today, as we just went there to play football. So let's play and see what happens. These guys were trying to prove a point. Who goes down to 10 men and play better than you were playing with 11? But I can also guarantee you, if Moisés Caicedo had stayed on the pitch, we would have lost this game easily, in my opinion, because I do not think Arteta has got anybody who can, in midfield, who can sort of control that game. Odegaard would have come in as a sub to help us at least get a bit more creative, but he's obsessed with, okay, let me not say obsessed because it sounds really bad that I'm against Arteta, because I've learned my lesson. I think this is just a game that would always have found difficult to play in any circumstance at this point in our trajectory. So I feel like Arteta in that midfield is lacking a lot of creativity. Now, Eze is great, but this guy is a bowler. He is creatively, we needed something cleverer. That combination we usually get with Saka, Odegaard. In fact, one of our biggest misses today was Leandro Trossard for Martinelli. That was one of our biggest misses, because there was really the outlet. After you send it to Martinelli, he's not going to do much with it, because you have put him on that left wing again. Martinelli should be central, should be playing more central. If you're going to put him down the wing, make it in such a way he's dragging in. All his goals that he scores, the opportunities he creates, he doesn't create very much when he is trapped on that wing. He doesn't have that creativity to dribble in. He is not Vinny Jr. He isn't. Let's be honest, but he has got his own qualities, and put this guy down the middle. In my opinion, what I wanted after I saw how Chelsea were battering us in the first half, I was thinking, you know what? Yeah, I love Merino. Of course, he brings something in. He probably could have started Martinelli if he wants him in the team so much. Move Eze to that wing. Put Eze in that wing. At the end of the day, it's better. It's better. And drop Merino back. But definitely, it would have been better for Eze to be on that left. Zubamendi, for me, you guys, I've been saying another one. This was another one. He just did not impact the game positively. He is not the replacement for Thomas Partey. I knew Thomas Partey had some limitations, certainly a lot of limitations, but there's a reason why the club wanted to keep him as well as get Zubamendi in. It was to swap them. There are certain games you cannot play. Martin Zubamendi, this one was one of them. I don't know who on the bench would have come in for him. Probably, did you see Miles Lewis-Kelly came in and was sort of in that central position? Now, Miles has lost a lot of confidence in the last few weeks. The confidence has basically disappeared. I saw him very tentative on the ball when he got it. He was very careful, but maybe that's what we needed. Sometimes you just don't need to be going forward all the time. Send the ball back and wait for better opportunities and better openings. But I think when he came in for Calafiori, things moved a lot better. It moved a lot better. Chelsea had fewer chances, but not because of Miles Lewis-Kelly, but because basically they started realizing that, Arsenal were probably looking to take advantage of anything, so they couldn't be super aggressive. They still had the same opportunities as Arsenal. When they had a chance, they were breaking us up, breaking us down. But funny enough, they only had 2 changes. We had 4 we made 4 changes. Gyökeres should have won it for us in the end, but this excitement, Jurian Timber headed it, and Gyökeres was in a better position. Communication, very poor communication there. Odegaard came on for Martin Zubamendi, and things became better instantly. 100%. I'm not joking, you guys. Zubamendi, we need to pick and choose. Play him in Europe certain European games, Premier League games, choose the sides. Brighton, these civilized sides who like to play football, these guys who want to step on your head as if you're playing MMA. Yeah, don't even try that. Noni Madueke, I don't like him on the left wing. I prefer him on the right wing. He's more effective. But of course, we couldn't bring Saka out at that point. But Saka can play on the left wing better than Martinelli. I've seen him do that. I think they should have basically brought in Noni and binned Martinelli, put him on as a sub. Martinelli needs to be a super sub. Unfortunately, in most games, he has got all the ability in the world, but he is at the moment way, way behind Leandro Trossard in terms of contribution to our results. Scoresheet is coming and scored some important, lovely goals. But if we want to win, we need to control the game, and we can't control the game when we've got somebody as unreliable as him when they start. But I know he's learning. He just didn't show up today. So yeah, in the end, it was 1-1, and it was really painful for me to watch. I couldn't wait for the final whistle to go. At some point, I came back at about halftime. So I watched, I think, the second half from home. But yeah, I almost turned it off because I couldn't handle the pressure. In the end, it was, for me, it was very disappointing. Chelsea were celebrating because you know what? Yeah, Chelsea, Arteta, before I go, I've seen this against Manchester City. It was the same thing. You've got teams that are scared of Arsenal, but it's like you're scared of them. You don't need to be scared of anybody. Basically put in certain players and hammer these guys. Hammer these guys because they're scared of you. Look at how they were celebrating 1-1. I know they feel like they got away with 1 because they went down to 10, but I don't think Arsenal would have been celebrating it. They don't consider themselves to be in the title race. I don't consider them to be serious title contenders because this game was an anomaly, same as the Bayern game. They come out for the big games. They want to show up, say, oh, look at us. They're very immature because you should be taking on every game the same. But I think they're going to certainly drop more points than Arsenal in certain games because they won't be able to sort of G themselves up for it. I think this performance they put in today was specific to us because they were facing Arsenal. And everyone has been talking about how Arsenal is the best team in the world. Best team in the world right now. Yeah, okay. We are. I know I said I'd pack my arrogance, but give me this. We have been the best team in the world, but we have been tested so far by 2 very aggressive teams. Do not defend against Arsenal if you want to beat us. Come and play. And then you have a better chance. The only thing is you have to play for 90 minutes the way these Chelsea, they were immense. Honestly, I really, really think they were immense. Let's have a quick look at the lineups again. I just want to believe it. Rhys James, great. Chalobah, Fofana, brilliant. Cucurella, I think Bukayo Saka had some success. He was assaulted. Basically, he should be going to, the Metropolitan Police and open a case because this guy was absolutely assaulted today by Cucurella, but he had a moment where he showed his strength and he got the best of Cucurella. And then there was, of course, the assist for that cross, which Merino headed in. So I will go for Saka on that matchup in the end. And Cucurella, demonic Cucurella, got himself a card. He should have had a red. Caicedo versus Declan Rice. I think Caicedo, Rhys James, definitely better than Declan Rice, Martin Zubimendi midfield. 100%. More in control. These guys are so good. This Declan Rice is busy having to hold Martin's hand. He needs better support, especially in games like this. He looked anonymous, Declan, today. He looked anonymous. He looked rugged. It could be because we've played some very big games. Remember, we only played Tottenham the other day in Bayern. Then there's some very big games, so much pressure. Back 4 is basically decimated with injuries. He doesn't help. Julian Timber as well. I think he got cluttered at some point. So yeah, we just had a tough game. I am absolutely confident. Let's see Arsenal's next games. I'm absolutely confident that we'll bounce back very well against Brentford on Wednesday. Will I be home on Wednesday? Wednesday is wait a minute. Oh, I'm in November. Wednesday is the 3rd. I'll be watching that 100%. So yeah, I think we'll bounce back at home. Our head-to-head, let's see. Last season, in April, we drew with Brentford 1-1 at home, and then we beat them away in Brentford 3-1. So yeah, but I think we should recover. Hopefully we'll get one of them guys back in the week, at least Saliba, bring one back. But yeah, Zubimendi, I think he is the one destabilizing some of that area. I don't know what you people see. I'm obviously not seeing it, but if they are aggressive Brentford, let me see their team, then we are cooked. That's just it. Oh, Damsgaard, Sade, or Ouattara, Ego Thiago. I remember these guys. Yeah, they're not an easy team. So basically, it's going to be another game, but it's definitely not going to be as emotional as today's game was. So I'm very disappointed with that result today. I was expecting so much better, but you can't win everything. And I think if earlier someone had said, let's go for a draw, I would have said, no, I want to win. But that's because I'm greedy and I'm arrogant. That's it. A draw against Chelsea, I would have said, hell no. But at 10 minutes to go, I was also still looking for a win because honestly, there are just some teams. If we had won this match, everyone would have just given up and started booking their holidays for February, March, because there would have been nothing for them to play for. But I think there's still a lot of vulnerabilities with Arsenal and Manchester City 5 points behind right now, and then Chelsea 6 points behind with Aston Villa and the rest. But yeah, man, apart from Manchester City, who also are quite vulnerable, but not as vulnerable as Arsenal, they're going to be losing a lot more games than they have lost, definitely. We just need to get some of our players back, especially the core midfield. But Arteta needs to fix that Rice situation. He cannot be playing by himself all these games. I know you guys are pretending that Martin Zubimendi is doing stuff. He isn't. He isn't. He isn't doing it. There's some games actually where he's good, but you have to do everything in that position. You have to do everything right. You cannot just be able to be offensively good and then leave Rice to sort of arrange, things in the back. He has to be better than that. And you need to help the transition from defense to midfield. I don't think benefits from Martin Zubimendi as well as it could. In big games, I'm not talking small games, you get away with all these things, but in big games and in aggressive games, same. We have struggled. But yeah, anyway, let me stop going on about it. This is not a Zubimendi witch hunt. I certainly do appreciate everyone likes him, but for me, I definitely think he's what is holding Rice back in certain situations. Because Rice has to make sure that, Calafiori helps. It helps. And that is probably why Miles Lewis-Skelly is not playing as often. It's because like Calafiori, when he plays, Rice doesn't have to worry about him. But when Miles plays, Rice has to worry about Miles. But he can't do both and make sure that he's covering Zubimendi's, errors here and there. But yes, Zubimendi, I am hopeful and I definitely know you're going to produce the goods. It's just that we cannot be dropping any more points. I am hoping for a very successful December. And yeah, you guys, happy new month for December 1st. That's coming up in a bit. But in the meantime, let me say good night. And then I will talk to you. I will be doing another weekend post-match review after this. And hopefully I'll be in a better mood. But right now I'm not. Thank you so much. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye-bye.